Have you ever looked at someone and wished you could just read their mind? To know what they really think about you, what they truly feel, what their real intentions are behind that polite smile or that sudden silence? It sounds impossible, but it's not. You see, you don't need supernatural powers to read minds. You just need awareness, a Stoic awareness. Because the mind reveals itself, not through telepathy, but through truth. And if you ask the right questions, you'll uncover exactly what someone is hiding. Their desires, fears, weaknesses, and motives, all without forcing them to speak the truth directly. Today we're going to explore something deeply psychological, something the ancient Stoics understood far better than most people do today: how to read someone's mind just by asking them 5 questions. But don't worry, this isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding. It's about developing the same kind of calm emotional intelligence Marcus Aurelius had, where you can observe people clearly, see through their words, and respond with wisdom instead of reaction. So sit back, breathe, and prepare to see the human mind from a Stoic's point of view. Because once you do, you'll never look at conversations the same way again. Before you even ask anything, the Stoics would remind you of this: silence is your first question. When you meet someone, don't rush to fill the silence. Just observe their body language, their tone, their eyes. People reveal more when you don't interrupt their space with your own emotions. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's not just advice for humility, it's a strategy. When you're silent, people feel the need to explain themselves. They fill the quiet with their truth, even when they don't plan to. So before you ever ask your 5 questions, remember this Stoic mindset. Patience is not just waiting, it's listening without the urge to respond. This is the foundation of mind reading. You're not reading their mind, you're creating space for their mind to reveal itself. Because when you stop reacting, others start exposing who they are. Imagine someone tells you a story. Maybe they talk about their ex, their job, or a dream they had. Most people just nod and say, "Oh, really?" But a Stoic asks, "What does that mean to you?" This one question pierces through their surface. It forces their mind to interpret their own experience. And when they answer, pay attention not to the facts, but to the emotion behind their words. Do they blame others? Do they take responsibility? Do they twist the story to look good? Their answer tells you not what happened, but how they think. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that it's not events that disturb people, but their judgment about events. So when you ask someone, "What does that mean to you?" you're not just getting a story, you're reading their judgment, their philosophy, their emotional lens. That's how you see what kind of person you're really dealing with. Someone who sees pain as unfair, or someone who sees pain as a lesson, someone who blames or someone who learns. And once you know that, you understand their mind more than they do. This question cuts even deeper. Most people live reactively. They don't stop to think about the why, they just assume things happen to them. But the Stoic asks this question to awaken awareness in both themselves and others. When you ask someone, "Why do you think that happened?" you're asking them to explain their belief system. Some will answer logically, with calm reasoning. Others will answer emotionally, with bias and defense. And that's your clue. Because a Stoic knows how people explain the world reveals how they handle it. If they think life is unfair, you'll see victim mentality. If they believe every challenge is a test, you'll see resilience. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." When you hear someone's explanation, you're not just reading their logic. You're reading their illusions, their fears, their philosophy of suffering. And in that moment, you know their inner world, their limits, their triggers, their values. You've entered their mind without ever intruding, because every why reveals the roots of their soul. This one separates thinkers from reactors. It forces self-reflection. When you ask this, you're not judging. You're inviting them to judge themselves. And here's the Stoic magic. Self-awareness always reveals character. If they get defensive or say, "Nothing, I was right," they're hiding insecurity behind pride. If they pause, think, and admit their mistake, they have humility and a mind open to growth. Marcus Aurelius constantly reviewed his actions each night. He asked himself, where did I act wisely today? Where did I fail? He knew that wisdom grows in reflection, not in arrogance. So when you ask someone what they would have done differently, you're mirroring that same Stoic ritual. And in their answer, you'll see their maturity level, whether they live by ego or by awareness. Remember this, self-reflection is the mirror of the soul. Some people look into it, others avoid it. That's how you know who truly understands themselves and who only pretends to. Now we step into desire, the most vulnerable layer of the mind. Every person is ruled by desire and fear. The Stoics knew this, that to understand someone, you must see what they want. When you ask this question calmly without judgment, people reveal their truth. Sometimes it's something deep, like peace, love, or respect. Other times it's control, revenge, validation. But here's the Stoic insight. People's desires are the chains that control them. Epictetus said, freedom is not achieved by satisfying desires, but by eliminating them. So when someone reveals what they want most, you also see what enslaves them. A person who wants approval is controlled by rejection. A person who wants power is controlled by weakness. A person who wants peace, truly wants peace, is close to wisdom. So when you ask, what do you want most right now? Listen deeply, because behind every desire lies their entire mental structure, their attachments, their pain, their illusions. You're not just hearing their wish, you're reading their soul's blueprint. This question, it's the final key, because fear exposes everything that masks the truth. People can fake confidence, fake happiness, fake love, but they cannot fake their fears. When you ask, what are you afraid of losing? You invite them into a space where masks fall away. They might hesitate, deflect, or joke it off. That's fear too. Or they might open up, and you'll see their humanity. The Stoics taught that fear is an illusion created by attachment. Marcus Aurelius said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. To a Stoic, fear is just resistance to reality. So when you see what someone fears losing, their image, their lover, their control, you see what part of reality they still haven't accepted. You see where they still suffer. And that's how you read a mind completely. Not through tricks, but through awareness, compassion, and emotional stillness. Because to truly read someone's mind, you must first master your own. Now that you've seen these 5 questions, remember this truth. They're not tools for manipulation. They're mirrors of perception. A Stoic doesn't use them to control others. He uses them to understand, to see beyond reaction, to meet people where they are, and to act with reason instead of impulse. When you begin asking questions like these, something changes inside you. You stop chasing approval. You stop arguing to prove a point. You start listening, observing, and calmly seeing through the layers of emotion people hide behind. And that awareness, that quiet clarity, becomes your power. Because people around you will sense it. They'll feel understood, maybe even exposed, but never judged. That's the Stoic way of mind reading. You don't need magic, you need presence. You don't need tricks, you need truth. And once you develop that, no one can lie to you again, because their energy, tone, and reactions will always reveal what their words hide. In the end, remember this: the more you understand yourself, the easier it becomes to understand others. Because other people's minds are just reflections of your own fears, desires, and judgments. So the next time you want to read someone's mind, slow down. Don't analyze to control, observe to understand. Ask questions not to expose, but to connect. That's how Stoicism transforms relationships, communication, and life itself. Through calm observation, deep listening, and genuine curiosity. And if you truly want to master this art, start practicing it with yourself first. Ask yourself those same 5 questions, because when you know your own mind, you can read anyone's. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure to subscribe and join our journey of Stoic wisdom, where ancient philosophy meets modern life. Remember, your calmness is your power, and the more you understand, the less you need to react. Stay strong, stay aware, and as the Stoics said, control what you can, accept what you can't, and observe everything in between.